Turbo is a 2013 animated film by DreamWorks about a snail. But instead of going slow, he goes fast. When it came to making a video game adaptation, seems like a pretty simple task: take the characters, put them in a generic racing game, make a quick buck. But for some reason, the developers decided to create a Tony Hawk's Pro Skater clone. Turbo Hawk's Pro Snail is a game in which you slide around levels, do tricks, collect things, and complete various objectives like getting a high score combo, or tricking on a specific object, all under a 3-minute time limit. Certainly does sound like exactly the sort of thing you do in the classic Pro Skater installments. But creating a Pro Skater game isn't that simple, and Turbo takes a number of missteps. First problem is the levels. There's 6 in total, comparable to the number of non-competition stages in the first Pro Skater title. But the thoughtful design of those stages isn't present here. Trickable set pieces don't naturally flow together into fun lines to skate, and every single level is simply too vertical to work. You either have to start at the bottom and spend way too long trying to climb up to an objective with the threat of falling and losing all progress forever present, or you start up high, can't see a thing without a leap of faith, and still have to worry about falling. There's little spots you can stand on to get launched to another place higher up, but you're just gonna do it again and again and again. I'd rather not. And it's all so much worse because of the faulty game feel. Sure, this game has grinding and grab tricks and flip tricks, all mapped to the same buttons in fact, but it's sloppy, it feels off. Any Tony Hawk fan knows how their game should feel, and this definitely isn't it. It's impossible to reliably ensure that you get anywhere you're trying to go, and more importantly, it doesn't feel fun to just skate around aimlessly. And when the underlying gameplay just isn't fun, what's the point? There's another issue though. There's too many damn goals. There's like 100 total per level across all the characters, and you do them, and they unlock more goals to do, and doing that unlocks more levels, and that's it. There's no greater task. Just do goals. You don't get to the end, you don't compete in tournaments to prove that you're a pro snail or whatever. There's never any reward for the player. I mean, there are some unlockables, but it's never clear what you have to do to earn them. There's not even a lot of information on that stuff online. That pretty much covers everything you need to know. Let's take care of the odds and ends and the pros and cons. It ultimately looks fine. The cartoony approach at least holds up better than any of the real Tony Hawk games. But that's about all it has going for it. It's a game based on a franchise nobody really cares about. The levels are poorly designed, the gameplay is fundamentally flawed, and oh right, the soundtrack. There is one, fully implemented with a menu where you can pick which songs will play and little windows that pop in when something new starts playing. It's generic as heck, and almost like all this work to show it off was just copied from somewhere else, a game series famous for great soundtracks. Oh right. I know I'm beating a dead horse at this point, but there's basically no customization options, unlike most entries of, well, you know. Would it have been so hard to let me make my snail Sona into a reality? Turbo Super Stunt Squad will likely never come to the Switch, given its attachment to a mostly dead franchise. Why does this have a Netflix original series? Why does The Croods have a Netflix original series? Now there are 2 multiplayer options. One is just a basic battle between who can get the highest score, nothing much to do here, but you can customize location selections. So if you really like sliding down the stepladder, boy do I have a treat for you. Just don't choose Whiplash here, he clips through the starting platform and, loses. You can also play through the single-player goal mode with a friend. In split screen where you can barely see anything in a game that already makes it hard to get where you're going, and there's a lot of slowdown. You can use the Pro Controller though, even though I could not figure out how to use it in single player. Overall, Turbo Super Stunt Squad sucks. Just play a Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Except for 5. Turbo Super Stunt Squad is also one of the most expensive games on the Nintendo Wii U and available on other consoles. If you really want it, don't get it here.